it is.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the One Up Sales Development Podcast. So for my next guest I got for y'all today is a special lady. And I've been following her for quite some time now. She's not your ordinary lady that you would just find someone out there. This woman is a true sales professional. I'm talking about over 15 plus years of sales experience. She specializes in, one-on-one coaching. She also does group coaching. She's very, very, very effective when it comes to communication. Her presentation skills are off the hook, off the chain. She's been in the game for a very long time, and she actually had her gig side to over at doing doing pharmaceutical sales. And that pharmaceutical sales is that awesome, cool outside B2B sales role, very lucrative. And majority of the people normally that I know of would typically just stay in there when that happens, when they get enrolled in that gig. But what happens is that a lot of people now are moving over to tech and SaaS, and this is exactly what she did too as well. She is been in the game for a very, very long time. And please give us a warm welcome for the one and only Michelle Hecht.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's such a nice introduction.
Yeah, Michelle. So I know now you representing the Sales Rebellion. You are a Rebel sales coach. Welcome to the One Up Sales Development Podcast. I've just been looking forward to this for ever since we've connected. I'm going to be honest with you. So welcome aboard.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be on right now, and I'm so happy to finally talk to you face to face. I feel like you and I have a kinship online, and we cheer for each other, and it's just so nice to finally make a deeper connection with somebody. So I'm excited to be here, and thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. And you're absolutely right. Ever since we connected, I was like, once I started following you and all the content you've been pushing out, everything that you post and your response is always very valuable. And what I also, not to throw any type of curveball out there, but there's majority of the people who perform as this person's a sales leader, you should follow them. If you really compare and take a look deep dive, most of them are males, right? And you being a female, I said, man, I gotta have you on and to share your story and perhaps even inspire someone to someday, growing up as women, say, hey, you don't got to be a guy that be putting out content to be a sales professional, be a sales leader, and women can just do it too. So thank you for coming on.
Anybody can. Thank you so much. Absolutely. I'm honored that you would ask me to come on and talk about even just influencing one person, making an impact on one person. That's what it's about. That's what it's always about, for me at least. So I appreciate that.
Yes. Repping the Sales Rebellion, of course, with AKA Del Dupree. There you go. Rebel sales coach. Love it.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Del. Shout out to you, Del. So Michelle, without further ado, just for our audience here, why don't you go ahead and just give us a quick, brief intro of, what's the Sales Rebellion and what do you currently do at the Sales Rebellion?
All right. Well, thank you for asking. So the Sales Rebellion, I have been following for, I don't know, about a year now, and specifically Dale. So the story that I'll start sharing with you is probably the same story that everybody has shared. I was following this guy Dale, and he was so inspiring and so real and amazing. And I couldn't help it. I just got hooked, and I really love what he's all about. So yes, my story is like that as well. At least it started off that way, but I took it a step further, and I met him at a LinkedIn Global event late last year. And I specifically looked for him, and I met up with him, and I told him, I introduced myself, and we had a nice little chat. But what I want you to know, and what I think everyone should know that doesn't know him personally, he is exactly the person offline that he is online. The person that talks a certain way, that's deep, that's sensitive, that really cares about people, that cares about their sales walk. He is the same exact person, whether he is on LinkedIn, online, or offline. And that spoke volumes to me. So after we met, we spent a lot of time together at that event. He actually walked me around with him and introduced me to people with him. He could have easily been like, nice to meet you, let me go do my thing. people were lining up waiting to talk to him and like just say hi. He's like, no, come with me. I want you to meet people too. That speaks volumes about
Nice.
somebody's character, right?
Yeah.
And like two equals, two people from two different walks of life, but there for the same purpose, to connect with other human beings and to make a difference. And that's what it was about. And so from that point on, we developed a friendship. And then I was kind of in the background. I was still doing my thing. I was in pharma sales. I had other things going on. And I was going to consider doing that on the side. And then I just had my aha moment after a lot of things that happened to me in the last year. And I decided to call him up one day and say, you know what, I'm all in. Not a side gig, not something just to do, for more extra experience or money or this or that. I am so passionate about this. I want in 100%. And he was like, I thought you'd never ask. That's how it, but it was just so organic. It was so awesome. It really was, it really was. So.
Amazing. I love that guy. And it's funny that I love that you mentioned that. You said, okay, Dale is the same exact guy. He is online and offline. And when you say that, which tells me he's 100% authentic, he's real, whatever says goes. You will not find him say one thing and then come back and see him saying another thing. Like,
absolutely.
With a lot of sometimes like things happen floating around LinkedIn and people get caught and it's like, you get caught and it's like, hey man, call you out. So Michelle,
Sure.
when it comes to that experience, let's before we get into your background real quick and how'd you get into sales, I really want to dive deep into that experience. So
Yeah, sure.
you met him at a LinkedIn event. It was late in the year of 2019. And you met him, you introduced him. So was this the first time you met him, like upfront in
Face to
person?
face. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys have like prior engagement, like online, like LinkedIn? Hey, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
Before?
On LinkedIn, commented a few times on different things he posted and, sent him some messages. We went back and forth. I wanted him to know that his messaging really resonated with me and really struck a chord, and it wasn't something that always happened. I was never like very heavily into LinkedIn because it never really appealed to me in pharma. I mean, maybe it appears in people's lives, and it appeals to them rather, more so now in the last couple of years, but I never really tapped into it the way I have been now for the last year. So within the last year I did. And we went back and forth a little bit, but that was the first time that we ever met face to face. And that's when I knew, that this was 100% authentic.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I love that. And just taking a step back at that again,
Sure.
I can imagine you just walking there and I would say, so Dale's great guy. Can't wait to meet him too myself one day in person. And like I really believe that his mindset is, game recognizes game, because like you mentioned, he could have just said, Michelle, you know what? It's nice meeting you. We've been in touch for quite some time, but I'll catch you around the corner. But instead he said, you know what? Come with me. I want to show you around and let you meet the other people with me. And that right there just tells me game right next to game. I'm sure he's, probably, I'm just saying, he probably okay, I got to have Michelle on board prior to that and say, I got to have you on. And really, just coming from where he's at, from me watching him and just really studying him too, in the way he moves, the way he talks, and is everything just clicking like you said. I really believe when he saw you up front, it's like, that's my girl. Game recognizes game. Let me take you with me. And man, that's some good stuff. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely months, and like it was months and months before that even happened. I went through a lot. I went through some significant stuff over the last couple of years. So I was trying to find myself too. And I knew in my heart for years that I always wanted to be a sales trainer and a sales coach. And I spent years trying to do that and was either rejected, redirected, ghosted, offered positions with lots of stipulations, lots of red tape, lots of political nonsense over the years. So I've endured my share, but I always knew deep down inside what I wanted to do. And I never thought that I would meet somebody that would really make it clear to me that you can combine who you are, what your experience, and really put your entire authentic self into it and make a career out of that and train people and basically bring out the best in people too. I
Oh
thought this
my
was some
God.
made up, you know? So that's like, that's an epiphany, that's like, like lights going off, like,
Oh
woo-hoo.
shit.
So
Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what
Okay.
happened.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. Man, I'm so glad that we're doing this right now. You just gave me an aha moment. I'll tell you why. So, big fan, really good friends with Jack Wilson. Been in touch with him for a pretty long time, ever since from Scott
Yeah, he's
Inco's
amazing.
podcast. And we ran an episode earlier this year, and I heard of the Sales Rebellion before, but I never quite knew or really checked out what that was. I heard the name Dale Dupree, and Jack actually brought it up in the podcast, and he's like, "Yeah, you should really check out Dale Dupree with the Sales Rebellion." I was like, "Yeah, tell me more about that." And as I was looking into more, and really everything that you're just telling me right now, I love that. That's like Dale Dupree is just being a real dude, keeping it real, but also doing it right. And I know he was a copier sales professional, and really just telling you like, hey, Michelle, you had a pain point there, right? Even though you had a lot of success doing what you're doing as a pharmaceutical rep, and good salary, benefits and stuff like that, but something just deep down was missing. And you mentioned right there, you finally figured it out, and really it's coaching people and just helping people. And you were faced with
Yeah.
many adversities. I'm sure you were probably trying to reach out and just trying to find that. You're just trying to connect dots. And finally, Dale came and said, "Hey, this is everything's happened for a reason, and you should really check this out. Come see what we have to offer. And if you don't like it, then we'll part ways." And far more than not, damn. So, that was man. I love that.
He never, not one time, Jackson, he never pushed the rebellion on me, nothing. He was just like, this is who we are. This is what we have to offer. If you like it, wonderful. If not, like you just said, but it wasn't like, hi, it's nice to meet you, great time, great event. And then like that night or the next day, I started getting like he started like fire, like rifling off, pitches and like, check out my this and check out that and my website. And we do this. And I mean, not once, never, ever. It was like he was comfortable in his own skin, and he knew that he would be able to kind of give off a total vibe in one interaction that would give me exactly what I needed to make the connection for myself. And not everybody can do that. You have to be seeking that. You have to be looking for that. If you're not going to get it. So for the select few that are, it's like ching, 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 like the dots are connected and like all the lights start going off. So that was it for me, but I didn't run right away and be like, oh, sign me up. I want to do this. I want to be part of this. I had to prove to myself that I'm going to exhaust all my options. So I continued to interview. I continued to overcome obstacles, barriers, and do a lot of self-reflection, a lot of soul searching. Wow. And my timing was exactly on point. And that's when he made the announcement about a month ago. Wow. Joining the rebellion. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Congratulations, by the way. What a great guy. So Michelle, for our audience here who, that doesn't really know what that is, can you go ahead and just explain, give us like a debrief of what's the Sales Rebellion? Why are you guys existing? Why are you guys here? And really, what's the vision and the end goal for the Sales Rebellion?
So, and I'm so glad that you asked that question. Most people, if not everybody, already know his, his sales walk, where he started for a few years, and, his story. And he created the Sales Rebellion because he basically wanted to create a combination of like tried and true methodologies, ways of connecting with people, ways of building relationships, all the things that one-on-one, sales one-on-one is about when it comes to working with people and forming partnerships. But the rebellion takes it a step further. The Sales Rebellion also looks at mindset, at mindfulness, at authenticity, at emotional intelligence. And it's all about the long haul. It's all about the long game. It's not just about that transactional, let me get a sale and let me get over on whomever, that old stereotype. Basically, we're trying to break that stereotype. We're trying to almost like reinvent the wheel and take it a step further by helping people, all individuals that are on their path, they're on their sales walk. But we look at internal factors that go a lot deeper than just methodologies, and it's not all based on metrics. So just to be a little bit more definitive, I mean, I know I'm going on and on. I have so many positive things to talk about when it comes to this, because
No, keep going, please.
sometimes I grapple with, what points will I pick out to tell people, because there's so many great points, which is why I'm here. But, it's true. It's true. I could go on and on, but the approach is not only to help people with their sales walk, but also what we teach and what we help people do, what we empower people with, the tools, are things that they can use in their lives, throughout their lives, in different aspects of their lives, their relationships at home, their friendships, their community. It's about community. It's about connecting with people on a much deeper level. And it's about servant leadership. And it's about giving without expecting something in return. And that things, yeah. So there's a lot. It's almost like, being a sales, like a sales rebel, a seasoned sales rebel, but also being like a personal development coach or a life coach. Like, that's how I describe myself. I am like a cross between a sales coach, sales trainer, and almost like a life coach. And that's my magic. That's my secret sauce. But that's what they do on a much larger scale with a team of people that are just brilliant from different paths and different walks of life and different experiences, different ages, like just different mindsets. It's the most synergistic, incredible thing ever. It really is.
Wow. Damn. I love that. And that's amazing. Sales is more than just sales. It's the long run, like you mentioned, right? The ongoing relationship, and really just diving deeper, like emotional intelligence, like what makes you tick, what helps you, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel better. How can we create a better buying journey experience for a person who's, looking for your good or services, and really just fixing what's broken, because like you mentioned, sales has a bad rap, especially for those out there who don't know about these sales professions, because there's the B2B side of it. And I didn't find out until I just got started about 2 years ago, because people think sales, they're like, oh man, you're selling sales phone, or you're selling insurance, or you're just selling cars. Like, hey man, this guy sold me shit I didn't need. Man, I want to hear my phone bill's a lot higher than I was supposed to. I did not ask for that feature. Or this guy sold me just something on Craigslist and it was broken. And this really is bridging the gap, but going deeper and really letting you know, hey, Michelle, thank you for buying, and just really catching up maybe 2 months, 3 months later. Hey, it's Jackson. Just want to follow through with you. How's everything working out so far? Is there anything we can do to help you better? Oh, by the way, taking notes from the personalization. Yeah, how's your son Todd and Chad doing? Things like that. I'd imagine. Is that what you guys currently do? Like, really just build more than just really getting deep into it, and more than a sell, I would say. Like, relationship style.
100%. You hit the nail on the head. You have to, in order to be an effective salesperson, you have to be intentional. You cannot lead with, my goals, my quota, my numbers. I just want my sale today. If you're being led by that as your, that's your compass, like that's your North Star, you're not going to be successful. You might be successful short term, and hit your numbers and make some money. But in terms of creating long-term friendships, relationships, partnerships, where it goes deeper and people refer their friends and their colleagues and family and whomever, those are the kinds of relationships that real salespeople have, that they can turn around after years and they can still call up a client or a customer or whomever, and right away there's like that instant recognition. That's what it's about. The old way, the stereotype, is the, used car salesman stereotype. It's the, it's the person that wanted to get one over on you, that wanted to sell you something you didn't need and make a quick buck. They can make their commission, and they lie and they cheat. And we all know someone like that. We've all been jaded by somebody like that. And it's time for a change. It's time. It's like, that's the hashtag that we use, like change the game, be legendary. It's time to change the game and break those stereotypes and help people, build their own kingdoms.
Yes, yes, I love that, and you're absolutely right. Everyone in sales either know someone who was like that or experienced something that was like that. And again,
Yeah.
this takes me back to my sales professor in 2012, about 8 years ago. And I remember he told me the thing about sales is that it's a broken profession. And he says there's a lot of sharks in there. And what he
Yeah.
mean by sharks is people who sell you something, but they benefit from it more than the person who's buying from it. And
Yep.
I always told him, and I made up this theory, and I said, man, fuck that. I'm not a shark. I'm a dolphin, and I eat sharks for lunch. And I remember he always says that. He says, I eat sharks for lunch, because he's always honest, and he says, you always sell in the customer's best interest, even when it's not a right fit. You just tell them up front, this is not a right fit. Here's why. Maybe you should check this out. Wow.
Let me tell you, and that's such a great point that you just made, that if they're not the right fit, it's okay to walk away. It's okay to verbalize that. It's okay to refer them somewhere else. I mean, God forbid people are listening to this right now and think, I would never let my team do that. You have to go to bed at night with a conscience, like what I don't get how some people sleep at night. I really don't. And it's funny, I just finished an online course with Harvard Business School, negotiation mastery. And it was amazing. Nice. It was about 2 months long, and it was intense, but it was amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing, challenging. It just connected even more dots for me. But I'm bringing this up because of what you just said before about, when that stereotypical salesperson pounces on somebody and just like gets the sale, and the other person walks away and they're like, geesh, I just got taken for a ride. In the course, one of the modules that we focused on a lot was styles of selling, and also the way that sales are done, the exchange between both parties, that it doesn't have to be a win-lose. It's supposed to be a win-win. Both parties are supposed to walk away from that meeting, from that negotiation, feeling like they both did the best that they could, and they were able to walk away with something substantial and satisfying, and they were happy with it. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to sell whatever, and I'm going to walk away with the highest price possible and the terms on, my terms. And that's not the way it has to be. And that's always going to cause some sort of remorse afterwards. A win-win, that's what we're aiming for. And in order to do that, if you keep creating a sense of urgency and like you're hammering people in a sale, you cannot possibly and effectively create a win-win, because people feel that. They feel the pressure. They feel that fast talking, swindling, fake stuff. They feel it, and they know it, and they'll walk away from it. So
yes,
we don't do that.
Oh my God, I love it. Win-win. That's the best and simplest way to put it. It's not a win-loss, not a take-take. It's a win-win. Yeah.
It is. It is.
Wow. Okay. So, Michelle, let's dive a little bit deeper here. You have a very impressive resume when it comes to sales. 15 plus years, still ongoing. Talk to us about your journey. So, you're from New York, born and raised, right? You growing up.
Correct.
And how did you, what was it that made you tick and decide, I'm going to go ahead and do sales? Because how did you get started into sales is the question.
Well, be careful what you ask for. I'm going to try to, I promise I won't keep you here till Sunday night.
Oh, no. I
made that promise to myself.
This is your show. This is your show, girl. This is all you. Share your story, please.
It's so funny. I grew up in a family. My grandfather was with the same company for about 50 years. He was in sales. He started out as, low man on the totem pole, and was literally with a company for 50 years and made his way all the way up to executive vice president. So that was
Oh,
like
wow.
in the DNA. And then he retired to take care of my grandmother, and then went back to work after she passed away. He went back to work in his 80s. He couldn't stay away from it. It was like, like a drug. He couldn't get enough of it. So he was working till he was probably, I don't know, 89, 90 years old. And he was on his game. My dad, who is retired now, but my dad, sales from the moment I was born. I think he was in sales way before I was born. So again, a very long, successful life of sales in different industries, whether it was the mortgage business, whether it was, I mean, again, it crosses different areas, different boundaries, different levels, but basically that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I grew up in a family where I saw that for myself, and I got into sales by accident. I did. And I'm so honest about this. I thought I had it all mapped out. I was pre-law in college. I wanted to be an attorney.
Wow.
I was interning every year, every summer, and during the school year at different law firms in New York and on Long Island, and going to court, with the attorneys. And I was so excited about that. And I took the LSATs and I did well. And at the very last minute, when I was about to send out the applications for law school, I pulled the plug on the whole thing. Done. Why?
Wow.
Because I took a part-time job my senior year of high school just to make some extra money on the side, working at a fitness club, selling memberships. I'm dead serious. I think it was beer money. Yeah, maybe I wanted beer money. Probably beer money.
Oh, shit. I
And
love that.
what started out as a part-time job in high school ended up staying with me all through 4 years of college, working 30 to 40 hours a week, taking 16 credits a semester, graduating college with a 3.7 total GPA.
Nice.
And then staying with that company. It was actually Bally Total Fitness. I mean, I don't know if it's Bally Fitness.
Oh my God. I haven't heard of Bally's in a while. Yes, Bally's. It's Bally's. It's Bally's.
That's right. So I ended up staying with that company for 7.5 years, working my way up from something that was just a part-time gig to, an assistant manager, a manager, and then a local Long Island sales trainer for all the clubs on Long Island, and then a Northeast regional sales trainer for over 40 clubs in the tri-state area. And I would train all the salespeople that were coming into the company. So I had a taste of sales training and coaching at a very young age. And by the time I was in my early 20s, I was making more money than, friends of mine than their parents were making. I had it wasn't even just the money. I was so happy. I tapped into something that I never, ever considered. I never thought about. I was selling health to people. I was teaching people how to improve their lives, how to feel good about themselves, how to look better, how to be better, wives and husbands and parents and, friends, and just be confident and take care of themselves. And that's where it started. A love of connecting with people and helping them improve their lives. And after 7.5 years, and I graduated college, my position was eliminated. I used to drive to Philly every week and then come home on the weekends to New York to see friends and family, and then right back again Sunday night, drive to Philadelphia. That's where the main club was for all the training. So I did that for 7.5 years, and that's in a nutshell, in a long nutshell, a big nutshell, how the whole thing started. And I threw my dream of going into law school away because I knew in my heart that it wasn't what I wanted.
Wow. Amazing. I love that. So really you got that first itch from working at Bally's, selling membership, and really just helping people out. Just coming in, hey, how can I help you? What are you looking for? What's your end goal? Well, you know what? Let me show you around. But it's more than is relationship style, right? It's like one-on-one. You're up front. You're touching them. They're touching you, giving hugs. Hey, Michelle, man, I just lost 5 pounds. Congratulations. Yo, high fives, being there. And it's not like, hey, here you go. See you later. And just really having that, that human interaction and just releasing endorphins with each other, because endorphin is like when we touch, right? It's like when business touch, handshakes, hugs, or especially it's really important when, you know, mothers just have a newborn and they gotta have that. It's oxytocin actually. I'm sorry, it's not endorphins. Oxytocin, right? You hold the baby up close and it just releases automatically the happy chemical for love and safety from upon each other. Oxytocin, not endorphins. Endorphins for running when a mass of physical pain.
Get a little medical here. I like that. All right.
Yeah.
I like that. But you know, it's funny if you talk to different people about Bally's, you will get a handful of people. They're like, oh yeah, I remember them. They're the ones that told me that, you know, blah 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 blah. You know, membership issues. There were people around me. I mean, there were clubs all over the country. There were people that were, you know, doing things and saying things and over promising and under delivering. But here I was doing things by the book and very passionate about it and so super excited and enthusiastic about helping people achieve goals and, you know, just doing it the way it should be done and still becoming successful at a young age when there were people that were double my age thinking that they had to pull different strings and jump through hoops to be able to do it. So it was also having self-awareness at a young age. That's important. That's really important.
Yes, it really is important. Just having that self-awareness. And, you know, when it comes to these type of sales, so I used to be at T-Mobile to retail wireless, right? And you can really tell there's two different type of salesperson there, you know, and it all starts with the greet. There's one that just looks at you, stares away, whatever. And there's one that's go, hey, welcome to Bally's. Hey, welcome to T-Mobile. And I can tell that for the fact that's you straight off the gate. Hey, welcome to Bally's. How can I help you today? And that's what separates.
How many times have you either witnessed this or experienced this or heard a story about this where people will walk into a store, into an institution, whatever, and it's they want to buy something. And there will be people, you know, employees, salespeople that will look at you and almost try to sum up who you are, whether you're going to be able to afford whatever they're selling. Like they think they can map it out in their head and they have their preconceived notions and their stereotypes. And I pay attention to this. I have walked into furniture stores. You know, it's like the movie Pretty Woman when she walks into the stores and nobody will help her and they think that she's beneath them. And then she walks in and you remember that iconic scene with Julia Roberts, like, hi, like the joke's on you. And she buys like the whole store out. That feeds into the stereotypical salesperson, you know, type of image, right? And those were the things that we were subjected to, that we saw, that we've experienced. And it happened to me numerous times where I would go back to a car dealership. The first time I would go in and I looked like garbage. I was wearing sweats, no makeup, whatever. And they all were like, they would look at each other like, who wants to take her? Like, this is going to be a time suck. This is not worth it, you know? And I don't know, just out of principle, I'd be like, you know what? Because of your attitude, I was prepared to give you a down payment tonight. You lose. I mean, out of principle alone, I will not stand for that. So yeah, those are things that you grow up with or that you have experience with in sales, and you table them in the back of your mind because you know how much that can feed into your psyche. Yeah. Yes.
And that is true. I have witnessed that myself many times. And, you know, it's from working at retail too. To solve that, I came up with this rule, right? And I shared it with my coworkers too. Not all of them do that, but I told myself this is the rule. So I call it the blank face. So this is a true story. So I printed out on a piece of white paper is like a black shadow face, right? So think of it like it's a black outline, you know, you see, but there's no face, there's no mouth, no ears, no nothing. And it's just completely white. It's just a black outline. And I told them, this is how I do it. I treat everyone the same. Doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, where you're bum, where you smell, or whatever it is, girl, looks poor, looks rich, don't matter. I will always treat them the same. And that's exactly the rule that I did and I took, and it really worked. And I remember this one tall black guy that no one really wants to help because he kind of looks like a gangster kind of guy that's kind of like ghetto, wearing do-rags and stuff like that. But I taught him all the same, and he gave me multiple business and it was on a business account too. And in retail, when you're doing a business account, that's like where the money's at. And it's just like it's just things like that, as you mentioned. And it goes real back.
Yeah.
You don't judge a book by a cover.
Ever.
Wow.
Because time and time again, you will be blown away by what you thought was going to transpire and basically what ends up transpiring. And it happens over and over again. And it's human nature to judge. It's human nature to have preconceived notions. It's human nature. If it matters that much to you, you can break that cycle and do what you just gave an example of with the outline. Like that isn't a perfect example of being proactive and trying to teach other people to be neutral. It has to be something that you almost practice, ingrained in who we are and who we've evolved to become. So you have to practice that mindfully. And that's an amazing example that you just gave. That's exciting. I like that a lot. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Game recognizes game,
Sure.
right?
Huh?
Game recognizes game.
Yeah, you know it, buddy. You know it.
So, Michelle, this is where I really want to dive deep into. So
Yes.
let's take a look at this. You were doing pharmaceutical sales, really successful over there. So if you'd be open to it, and I know this is not on the agenda, but I really want to scratch it out there for our female listeners. So, and the reason why I say that is because, so you're in this profession, you're selling to doctors, right? How was your experience because you were a woman compared to males? Because I know for a fact, I did a lot of research before where doctors were like, oh, all right, just buy from a D, buy a D. But how was your experience like? Did you have any type of challenges there too, just because you were a woman? I just want to, if you'd be open to it, I just want to pick your brain on your experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I will tell you is that my experiences are not specific to one particular company. It's more of an industry thing. I happened to come into the industry when the guidelines were changing significantly, meaning that people, representatives, people in the industry were allowed to give out, concert tickets and weekends away and golf outings and steak dinners, very pricey, high ticket items and experiences and venues, along with grants if certain physicians were to, speak on a panel or represent or endorse a particular medication. At the end of the day, and people will still say this, but I really in my heart don't believe it. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I should believe it. But at the end of the day, doctors are not going to push a drug on a person that is not going to be a good fit for the person for whatever treatment they need, whatever condition they have. If a physician has a choice of certain drugs within a certain class that are all pretty much the same and work the same and have the same mechanism of action, then they can choose which one they prefer. So that whole concept of people in the world thinking, or people in this country thinking that doctors are pushing XYZ because they're getting kickbacks. They took an oath and they would never do that and put somebody's life in jeopardy by doing that just to, be buddies with their rep or a company that's giving them a little extra. So I just want to put
Okay. Nice. So they pretty much have this, like the hand on the Bible. Hey, I would not push any further from that. So the industry,
no matter what, it's to take care of their fellow man, to take care of people. And, that comes first. But I didn't want to divert too much from that. I just wanted to make that point because I get questioned about that all the time. But it's true. So I came into the industry when those guidelines changed. So when I came in, I wasn't allowed to give out those concert tickets and those, weekend trips and this and that, to people that were prescribing a lot. It was a lot less. It was significantly less. You were allowed to bring food in and, this would buy you time with the staff, with the physicians over a lunch or a breakfast. You were allowed to, give out little things when you walked into the office. But I'm grateful that I came in at that time, because it seems like the people that came before me, that's where the stereotype came from.
Oh.
With women, that in order to be successful in pharmaceutical sales, You have to be very attractive. You have to be able to get attention, whether you're male or female. You know, just so many different things I've heard over the years. And it's very difficult, the same way that the sales rebellion is trying to break the stereotypes of that old salesperson mentality, that old stereotype. I felt when I came in that in order for myself, for me to be successful, I'm going to have to break that stereotype in the offices and in my territory that were previously, you know, taken care of by other reps that maybe failed or, you know, used other methods to make money and to, you know, open accounts and whatnot, you know, to get
Oh
prescription.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. You know, I always wonder what it is from someone from the front lines, and it was something that I
absolutely.
want. Yeah, something that I wanted to do similar a while back. Like I mentioned, I always wanted to do medical device sales. So it's great to have someone who's from the front line that was doing pharmaceutical. So let's do this. So for those who are listening right now, and I know this is kind of like different from the one-up sales development style, but we're still sales. So let's say someone wants to be a pharmaceutical sales rep. Based on your experience, you've been in the game, killing it, and you have many years of experience. So let's jumping back to the pharmaceutical sales. So what in your experience, let's say if someone listening on the pod right now says, you know what, hey, Michelle Jackson, thanks. I think I'm gonna go, instead of going tech and SaaS, I'm gonna go do pharmaceutical sales. You know, what does it take to be successful territory salesperson at a pharmaceutical sales rep company?
Well, first of all, I don't have anything against the industry. I think it's definitely an industry that is, and I always felt that you cannot replicate, you cannot figure out another way to get through to people and to discuss, you know, certain things that are worthy of a discussion, whether it's a face-to-face discussion, a Zoom, a phone call. There is no robot. There is no, you know, email blast. There is no marketing material that you can mail to offices that will take the place of representatives coming in face-to-face and making those connections with people in the offices, in the surgical centers, in the hospitals. But the one thing that has changed over time is that companies, instead of hiring directly, they are contracting with third-party organizations called CSOs, contract sales organizations. And these CSOs go out and look for people and hire the sales teams. You know, they hire the people, they do all the onboarding. They're the ones that are cutting the checks. They provide the benefits. They do everything for the pharmaceutical company. And it's on a contract. It could be 1 year, it could be 2 years, but it's almost like insurance. If something goes wrong, if the drug doesn't do well, or it's over projected, or whatever the reason is, it was a contract and it's at will. So there are still companies hiring directly, but more and more over the last few years are all hiring, you know, sales individuals through a CSO. That I've noticed.
Gotcha. Wow, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So, like you mentioned, it's insurance for them. So instead of like just, hey, the company hiring them directly, and if doesn't go well, it's like, damn, man, we just lost all this money, we lost all this time and investment. But more importantly, we let the other person, which is the CSO, take care of that, onboarding them, training them, and then contract. And I guess I'm imagining if yeah.
Correct. This is, you know, what I'm telling you now is my interpretation, and it's in my words, and it's just from a place that, you know, I've seen. This is my take on things, and this is what I've seen over the last few years, especially. Absolutely.
Love it. Having a keen eye and just really, you know, seeing patterns and trends is it's where's it at. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Michelle, thank you for sharing that. So I know we're running up time soon, but I just want to dive deep a little bit real quick. So can you tell us more about NAWSP and what are you currently doing over there?
Absolutely. What I do want to address, and I know I kind of went on and on a little bit, probably too long about the CSOs, but you had asked me about my experience, about, you know, if as a woman, what I've experienced, and is it difficult? Absolutely. Because the preconceived notion when I came on board, and from what I heard, is that unless, you have a certain look, you're not going to be successful. And there were many, many people that played that up. And then when you have
God.
when you have people come along that really take it seriously and that want to make connections, make a name for themselves, want to move up the ladder, have goals, have dreams, have just bigger aspirations, and they're being held back by red tape, by political nonsense, by being told that there's a specific route that you have to take, a corporate ladder. You got the bro culture, the boys club. It's just that there was a lot of that in the industry too. And I'm sure that there are other industries, it's very, very similar. But over the years, the guidelines kept getting more strict, stricter, to the point where you couldn't spend more than a nominal amount of money, and everything had to be reported to the government with the Sunshine Act, and everything had to be, itemized. And it got very strict. I mean, there were corporations that lost millions, billions because of lawsuits, because reps were, selling things off label. There was a lot of things going on around me over the years.
Wow.
And here I am trying to play by the rules and do the right thing, but yet I'm not getting from point A to point B, which is my big goal. So that's where the frustration was. And I, over the years, started losing myself in the process.
Oh
because
my God.
I was always taught that, not always taught, but I was always encouraged, you're dealing with legal issues, regulatory, medication, fair balance. You can't just push all the pros on people, on the physicians. You have to talk fair balance, the cons. These are the side effects. This is what could happen. Special populations, all of that. And that was so important. And I played by the rules, yet you have to follow a certain script, more or less. You have to only use marketing pieces that are, that go through legal and regulatory, that have been approved. You can't do anything. You have to word things a certain way. Over the years, I felt like I was being stifled. My personality wasn't what it was. I felt that my light was dimming as each year went by, until it wasn't like a blaze anymore. It was a flicker. And I had enough.
Wow.
I had enough.
Okay.
So I wanted to know that.
I want to dig into this. So what you just told me right here was really amazing. What you basically just shared with us was not only about your experience and what it really takes to be successful over there, but also something that, is the dark side that no one talks about.
Exactly.
And you really took a gamble and you finally pulled a plug and said, you know what? If I have to do something that I don't believe to get where I want to be, this is not how I want it. This is not me. I'm going to find a different way. Bam, bounce, it made a horizontal jump. And kudos to you, because there's a lot of people out there gets in line with their careers. And I know where you're coming from. Play by the books. But sometimes, don't you hate it when others aren't playing by the books and then they beat you to it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that goes back to what I was saying before in the beginning, how I don't know how some people sleep at night. And I used to sit back and I used to observe this on different teams that I was on, or people that I knew in the company. They were making a killing, and I knew that there was something going on. They were pulling through certain things. They were just doing things that a lot of them, I couldn't even put my finger on what it was, but I knew that it was shady.
Damn.
And, and this is what got a lot of, this is an example of what got companies in trouble, people doing shady things for their own personal gain.
Yep.
But when that continues to go against your grain, like in the fiber of what makes you who you are, and you can't be your authentic and genuine self. And I've been told by certain people I worked for over the years, a few times, like, Michelle, you got to tone it down a little bit. You're a little too animated. You're a little too energetic. You're a little too extroverted and, outspoken and animated and whatnot. You got to tone it down and be professional and really know your information and know the science. And it's like, yeah, guess what? I know all the science. I know the studies. I got, I did so well on every single one. I could talk to anybody, any level of, medical education, and I can be myself too. How about that? But it was years of that made me feel like I was a square peg being pushed into a round hole year after year after year until I
Wow.
felt like I was losing myself in the process. That's what happened.
Damn. Okay. If that wasn't a price of admission, I do not know what is. Thank you so much for sharing. I feel you. I
Absolutely.
see where you're coming from. I feel your pain point, your story, and I'm really glad that you were open to sharing this because, like I said, not everyone's willing to talk about that. And you really there just said, "Hey, you know what? This is who I am," and you laid it out. And you know, you know that you know the product like the back of your hand more than the person
Right.
that's telling you to tone it down themselves. And you can
Yeah.
have a intelligent conversation with any person on the other end from any level, from ground zero to up to doctors and whatever's above. But here
Right.
they are, they're holding you back and suppressing you from who you really are. And is that niche and urge that you're just saying, this is who you are. And you're playing two masks here. You have one mask. So here you are, Michelle Hecht at home, happy with the kids, weekend off, going out, having fun, bowling, having a couple of drinks, just, hey, yeah, it's awesome. And then it's hitting on the clock. All right, it's time to clock in. So you take the mask off and you put on the other mask because they told you to, and you're just being someone that you're not. And over time, what happens is it plays this negative shit in your head. It's like a devil is right there. It's always at the corner, and you're there at work, and that devil's just sitting there going, "This ain't you, man. This ain't you, Michelle. This ain't you." But shit, I just go right out. But overall, the longer you hold it, the worse it gets. But I'm really glad and so happy for you, and congratulations for really just, hey, this is not me, and you took action, and here you are today.
Absolutely. And that goes back to what we were talking about self-awareness. When you know who you are and what you're about and what makes you genuine and what makes you unique, and you know how that affects everyone around you outside of your job, but yet at your job, at your profession, which you put a lot of time and effort into and try to master as best as you can, you're not getting the same results, something's off. And when you think about it, like you said, if you're wearing a mask from 9 to 5, and you hit the nail on the head, when you're wearing a mask from 9 to 5, and then at 5:01, you take it off to put on a different mask, after a while, years of doing that, the two of them start to blend into each other and the lines get blurred. And you don't know where one ends and one begins. And to be put in a situation where you don't know who you are anymore, and you don't know what makes you tick, and you feel like what you've always wanted to do, the longer you go without being, able to grasp it, the stronger the feeling is that you will never achieve it. It's almost like it's cosmic, like it comes from every angle. And then to top it all off, in pharma, if you don't have an appointment with a particular office, with a particular, institution, if you're just dropping in, it's always a sense of urgency. You want to get them to recognize you, recognize your product, your brand, and move them to action ASAP today. So you're taking, I'm dead serious, you're taking everything that you've learned, that you've studied, that enough information that you can sit and have hours of conversation with people in the medical field, and you're going to stand up next to their exam rooms and blurt out your top 3 points, and just catch a sale and catch their attention and drop off whatever you're dropping off in 30 seconds. I have a lot more to offer for people in 30 seconds. How long have I been on this with you now? What, like 40 minutes?
Yes.
I have a lot.
Yes.
I'm about relationships. I'm about partnerships. I'm about getting to know people. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. I don't want people to feel pressured and urgent and I got to do it now and why, and it's ending and the sale is over and I got to make a decision. No, you don't. Make a decision a month from now, but make it because you like me and you trust me and you want to do business with me because I'm your cup of tea. Don't do business with me because you feel like I'm hovering over you like a helicopter, because I don't want to do business like that. And none of us have to do it that way. That's old bullshit. We don't have to feed into it anymore.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Michelle, that was it right there. I love that. So if that wasn't straight sales rebellion, I don't know what is.
That's rebellion. That's a New Yorker with grit and and who's found the rebellion and who realizes that, there's something out there that is bigger than me and better than me, and that's inviting me to participate and better myself and other people around me. That's what that is.
Yes. Man, I love that. The sales community, we're really lucky to have you, for you to make that horizontal jump and going to where you're at today. And I can definitely see you as a sales professional doing things the right way. And there's a lot of people who needs help, and even from C-level executives, sometimes they tend to fall off, to get a little rusty, and said, hey, you know what? I just need someone to help me out. And it's gotta be, and that's you. That's you.
Absolutely. You don't have to be a robot. You don't have to just stand there and spew out features and benefits and, all the wonderful things that your product or service offers. People buy from you. That's it.
Yes.
People make decisions based on emotions. And
oh my God.
that if we all can take away like two things, from all of this, you can be the biggest master, know everything inside and out about your product or your service. If you're not being genuine, if you're not being authentic, people will smell phoniness a mile away. And no matter how well you know your stuff, they're not going to do business with you. They're not.
Yes. I love it. And I just want to throw something in there. So, we dove deep. You start out at Bally, selling your fitness and just really diving deep. And I can really tell straight off the bat, that was exactly what you're doing right now is what you want to do ever since from Bally's. It just wasn't really fully clear yet. You went to Pfizer and you had a lot of success out there, but then really if you think about this now, so there's this wise saying, there's a wise saying says, if something really belongs to you or is meant to be, if you let it go, it'll come back to you. And what you did was at Bally's, you were that person helping them, coaching them and teaching them with that one-on-one stuff. And it left, you went to Pfizer, you went out, and then now you jumped to Rebellion, and now it came back.
Yeah, I wanted to just, add one thing, and I'm sorry for interrupting.
No worries.
You were going down that path, and I wanted to stop you because it's exactly like no one ever picked up on that, and you just did. I went from working for Bally's, helping people through sales and through, just working with them, selling them something that would improve their lives, that would make them feel better. And that in turn made me feel better. When I left that company, when they eliminated the position, I could have gone into any other type of sales. I didn't. I chose pharma because that was another avenue for me to do almost the same thing on a different level, to be able to use sales as a vehicle and to be a catalyst where in turn, through physicians, through people in the medical field, I am helping people improve their lives. I'm helping people, treat medical conditions and diseases and improve their lives, their quality of life. So to me, that was like a step up from Bally's. And now I would be helping people like the masses. So that for me was like, wow, if I could do what I did at Bally's in such a short period of time and become a local trainer and then a, Northeastern regional trainer, I sure as hell can do that in pharma. Are you kidding me? And then look what happened. So, yeah.
Amazing. Love it. This is great. So, Michelle, how are we doing so on time now? I know we just hit the hour mark. How are you doing on time?
I'm quarantined, buddy. I can stay here all night with you. I love talking about this because I know that there'll be one person that they're like, oh my God, like, wow, yeah. And I feed off of that. I do. I get so pumped off of that. I do.
Oh, same here. Like a lot of people ask, why I do what I do. Cause, having a podcast on the side and the community thread and stuff, it's a lot of extra work that you do on the side. It's a commitment, and I always tell them, and I picked this from Gary Vee, like when I learned like about 2 years ago, like as long as you get that one person somehow, that one person that just comes back and says, hey, you helped me change my life. If it wasn't for you that doing this and that, I wouldn't have this and that, which means you made a big difference. And that's the end game. That's all it is. And
he's the best.
And that's what we do.
How many times do you watch those video clips? You see those video clips of him just hanging out, going in, walking around New York and like talking to people, and they come up to him and they say that to him, like,
oh yeah,
you changed my life, just by. It's amazing. and it triggers something inside of you on a very deep level. And that's how you know that's your calling. It's like a light goes off, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Love it. So, yep. Michelle, you are
Yes,
also
sir.
the chapter president at National Association of Women Sales Professionals. And man, I love this. Like, you're a huge advocate for that. This is why I really love it that you'd be open to run an episode, because to really push it out there
Yeah.
for the female listeners, because like I mentioned, when it comes down to sales, and it's been like this for a long time, majority of it is male dominated. There's some females, might catch heat for this, but I'm just being real. And please tell us about NAWSP and what you're doing over there.
All right. So I will start by telling you that when I made the decision to become more active on LinkedIn, my strategy was, I'm just going to go on blindly. I'm going to start following people and start really digging in and like listening and trying to align my values, my principles with certain people. And the first person that really caught my attention, that was so genuine and empowering and motivating and just authentic, that I had to know, was Cynthia Barnes, who is the CEO and founder of NAWSP. And I started following her, started connecting with certain things, sent some messages to her back and forth. And we ended up scheduling a Zoom call. This was probably last summer, maybe June, July. And if I tell you, the same way that I connected with Dale when I met him in person, when I connected with Cynthia over that Zoom, the warmth, if a picture of a face could give you 1,000 words about what that person is about, what their MO is, that they're a giver, that they are someone who genuinely wants to make a difference and empower others and raise the bar for women and minorities and just really roots for the underdog, it's Cynthia Barnes.
Oh,
And
wow.
she has been so instrumental in my growth. She has been there for me through so much. She has given me advice. She has spent time with me on calls. She has sent me information. She has gone above and beyond, excuse me, since day one, never asking for a thing in return, just my support and just to spread the word so that other women can benefit from what I was benefiting from and I continue to benefit from today. And how I became the president, which we still haven't launched our chapter. We were going to in March and then boom, pandemic. But yeah, it was crazy too. We had like the venue picked out. We had she was coming, she was flying in, she was going to speak. It was going to be amazing.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was in New York City. We have a sponsor and it was like, boom, done, sit down. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so she's just been really instrumental. And how I got to the position that I'm in is I noticed that she has chapters in other locations, but she didn't have a chapter set up in New York, in the greater New York area. And we had a discussion about it one day and she was on board with it. She was like, absolutely, without hesitation, without a doubt. I couldn't think of anybody with more energy, who's more passionate, who would be perfect for this. And then I just started getting more and more involved with her and with the organization. So it's been amazing.
Amazing. Congratulations, by the way. And if I truly believe if there's anyone else better to hold it down for the greater New York City area for NAWSP, I can't imagine anyone else but you.
Well, I appreciate that. And the more and more people that I really do, the more and more people that I would connect with through, her organization, and the more conversations I would have. I mean, she offers such amazing things for people too, resources and webinars and like free training and support and, lots of things. So women need that. You said it yourself before, like it's a male dominated industry and women need to feel that they have a tribe behind them and they have people that support them. They can be mentored and they can be guided and they can be told like how things really go down. Right. Yeah. And that's, she's built an amazing organization over there.
I love it. Amazing. Good stuff. All right. So Michelle, just before we wrap things up real quick, I just want to pick your mind on this. So, and this goes out to all the coaches too. So this is your thing. This is your expertise. level one-on-one coaching, showing them to how to do things the right way, and only the right way. So when it comes down to it, what makes it a truly effective one-on-one coaching? Because what happens in the SDR and BDR world is they report to an SDR manager, and there's also a lot of times where they don't report to an SDR manager because they don't have an SDR manager. And what I mean by that is a typical computer SaaS software company that has been around for 10, 15 years. They had full cycle sales rep, and like, oh shit, we need to start driving pipeline. There's this popular slang word called sales development. We need to roll out this program. And what happened is they're like, VP of sales, fuck it, man. I'll take them under my wing. I've been in sales for 10 plus years. I know what to do. But that guy never really, he never did a sales development role himself, right? So that's number one. But what happens is he's busy doing his own thing already. He's managing other full cycles rep. And now he has this with the SDR and BDRs. And when it comes down to the coaching, normally there's a gap there. So from you as a sales professional, as a sales coach, what makes an effective one-on-one message deep dive and really getting them to buy into the process of what you're trying to tell them?
That's an awesome, awesome question. I appreciate you asking me that. And from my point of view and from what I've observed just through my walk, it's accountability, right? There are managers, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I can speak from experience. There are so many managers that got to the level that they're at. They achieved, that status, that label, that title, because they were crushing numbers, not because they were managing people effectively, not because they were holding other people accountable, not because they were managing and training and interacting with people in a very specific, tailored way on an individual basis, based on how they want to be spoken to and coached and trained. So there's a divide. And I've always been in sales where I've reported to managers, and out of all the managers I've reported to in different companies, there have been a small handful that not only were incredible at selling and did well, but they also were incredible managers, and they knew how to give you what you needed when you needed in the way that you needed it. Wow. So for me, why people should buy into coaching, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's a small group training, no matter what platform it is or how it's done, it's the accountability. It's not me like saying you have to do it this way and this is what I want you to do and try this. We got to change this. We got to tweak this. No. For me, being an effective sales coach, being an effective sales trainer is using my knowledge, my experience, my enthusiasm, and my ability to help people tap into their innate skills, their soft skills. It's not all about the hard skills. Those are transferable no matter what company you go to. Your soft skills are what make you unique, whether it's empathy, compassion, sensitivity, your sense of humor, whatever it is. I show people how to tap into their soft skills, combine it with their hard skills, kind of pepper in a little bit of self-awareness, a little bit of authenticity, just being yourself, knowing your stuff, and owning it, owning your own presence, and trust it. Trust that you're enough, because you are. We can always play with everything.
God.
Yeah. All these different sales methodologies, all these different ways of doing things that people talk about on LinkedIn, they all work. I'm not saying they don't work, but you cannot duplicate someone's unique thing about themselves. There will never be another Jackson. You are him. You are it. There will never be anyone that's going to walk my walk and do it like me. I don't care if there's a million trainers on LinkedIn. Nobody's me. Nobody does it like me.
Oh my God. Whoa! Damn, that was it. Wow. Oh my God, that was amazing, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's that. And you're absolutely right. And people talk about the challenger sale, the spin sale. Hey, follow this methodology. Hey, take a look at this cadence. Hey, check out this sequence. But the authenticity is really what makes you you. And really, what they want to do is have a pot, start stirring the water. They throw the spin cells in there, the challenger cell to start mixing the recipe, but you also want to throw yourself in there, and that's what makes you you.
Yes.
Oh my God,
you can't. If there are people out there that are looking for the quick fix, the script, the methodology, you know, just send me your script. Send me, you know, how do I do it? What's the cadence? How many calls do I make? How many am I going to get back? And then what does that equate to? How many sales? And, you know, there are people looking for that. You know, you're laughing because you know.
No, it's true. It's true. Yes, it's true.
Those are not my kind of people. Those are the kind of people that I would personally turn away and just say, you know, I'd love to work with you, but I can't, because I'm so deeply invested in helping you kind of bring out that like it factor about yourself and using that along with your methodology. And if all you're looking for is a methodology and a system and you want to just be a robot all day, you're probably not the right fit for me and for the Sales Rebellion.
Oh my God. Oh, that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And speaking of the Sales Rebellion, I ran like 14 miles last week, and I actually made the Sales Rebellion flag because I love you guys so much. So
oh my God, that's great! I'm so excited
running,
for you.
I ran, I just had it on the back too, and I keep it on top of my desk right here. So
you are incredible.
Oh, you're incredible.
Like, you're just pure sunshine. You really are. You really are.
You're amazing, Michelle. Thank you for that. So Michelle, let's just wrap things up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 2 questions to find out. So number 1, special thanks. You got special thanks you want to give out, shout to anyone, then please do so. And if there's anyone here listening to this episode, they want to reach out to you, say thank you, perhaps maybe even be a client, or maybe it's just a female to female connection, what's the best way to do so?
All right. Great questions. So number 1, I would personally like to thank Dale Dupree, Cynthia Barnes, everybody on my team at the Sales Rebellion. And there are so many people that I've connected with recently that have such a voice, that have been so supportive of me in just a few months. And obviously my friends and my family, you know, people that really believed in what my mission was and still is. And that's just very, very important to me. You know, Tabitha recently, she and I, over the last few months, connected. Tabitha Kavanaugh, you know, she's just unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, those 2, and obviously the Sales Rebellion, and, you know, all the women that I work with and that I talk to, that I've befriended with, you know, at NAWSP, obviously. So yeah, those 2 organizations, those 2 founders, those 2 teams, I'm just really super grateful for their support and everything that they've taught me and helped me to overcome to get to where I am now. So thank you so much. And as far as reaching me, I'm on LinkedIn, you know, Michelle Hecht, Rebel Sales Coach, you know, through the Sales Rebellion. My email address is Michelle, MICHELLE @thesalesrebellion.com. And yeah, I mean, feel free to email me, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I would love to connect with people. And, you know, I have quite a story, and I haven't been able to share all of it, but I will leave you with this. The one person that basically validated everything for me, and it was the icing on the cake. I needed to hear it from somebody that was, I guess, on this level. I went with my friends to Denver in March. We wanted to go see Oprah live on tour. And we couldn't get tickets at the Barclays Center because they just were sold out. But for the same amount of money, we're like, we can make it a girls' weekend in Denver, see her. Very long story short, we flew to Denver right before the pandemic, right? Literally a few days. We found out, it was the 4 of us. One of my friends was like, guess what? I got us through, you know, connections, a VIP treatment, a personal, you know, dinner, you know, lunch and dinner with only 200 people and Oprah in this private area of the Pepsi Center. Damn. And then a meet and greet with Oprah afterwards.
Whoa.
So my big story, and it's funny because it's on my wall. I had, like I mentioned 6 times in the last hour, I have overcome a lot in the last couple of years. I lost like 3 different family members back to back, literally.
Oh, shit.
I was in a car crash last spring with my children in the car. I was laid off. My husband lost his job. I mean, this is all within the same couple of years, right?
Yeah.
It was horrendous. So on top of all of this and my feelings about myself and my self-doubt and what I want to accomplish and what I, you know, after the last layoff, I was done in farm. I was done. It was like February of last year. My point is, it's March now, just this past March. I'm in Denver with my friends. We find out we're going to have this special opportunity to meet and greet Oprah. And after a full day of it being the most insane thing ever with a stadium of 15,000 people, afterwards we had this opportunity, and the meet and greet was like a minute or 2 minutes for each person, you know, say a few words, a nice little exchange, pictures with Oprah. Me being trained the way I'm trained to take like so much information and condense it into 30 seconds, knowing I'm about to see a doctor and I might not get his full attention. I feel like I've been training my whole life for this moment, right? So
Selfish.
I'm up next to meet Oprah, and I'm like, you know, because I'm a crazy fan, and like her words just have always resonated with me for years. I literally walk up to her. I say to her, you know what? I want you to know how grateful I am to be here. This is such an incredible opportunity. I want to tell you why. And I somehow mustered up this, I don't know what, I can't even put a word, I can't even put words to it, you know, this courage, this something, this magical something, where I told her in a matter of like 30 to 45 seconds, sorry, everything that I went through leading up to that day, and why that day was so important to me, and what it meant to me, and where it almost led me, and the depression and anxiety that came from it, and the loss and the trauma and the pain and the triumph, and just the symbolism of being here, and my why and my purpose and everything that I felt. It was almost like an exorcism came out, and I ended up standing there with her. She took her glasses off. She held my hands. She started to cry in front of me. And I ended up standing there with her having a full-blown discussion for about 6.5 minutes that my friends come back and find me. So she took 2 photos with me. She told me exactly this. She said, Michelle, everything that you've worked for, everything that you've overcome, every obstacle, every situation that you feel you couldn't dig out of, you did. And you're here for a reason. And I want you to remember this. You are going to lay your bricks one in front of the other slowly. And as long as you're going in the right direction, which is forward, there's no time limit. You just keep going forward and do something every day that puts you in that forward direction, and you follow your heart. And she also told me, which she told everyone in the stadium, she repeated it to me, Michelle, I don't care how rich someone is, how poor someone is, no matter what socioeconomic background they come from, all of us have one thing in common. We all want to be seen, heard, and validated. From the baby.
Oh my God.
From the baby having a tantrum with the bottle that wants, you know, something, that wants mommy's attention, daddy's attention, to the homeless person on the street that wants $1, to the rich person up in the ivory tower who wants everyone to validate that they're so important and they're so rich and they're so perfect. We all have that one human common trait. And I walked away from her. She took 2 pictures with me. One was just side to side, and she was like hugging me and leaning into me. But the other one, she had her arm around me, and she had her other hand on her chest over her heart. And she said this to me. She said, and I have this, the pictures are posted on my profile. She said, you're going to look back at this picture one day of me putting my hand over my heart. And I want you to remember this. After I met you today, Michelle Hecht, you're all heart. You are all heart. And that is what's going to make you successful and lead you to your purpose, to your big thing. That, lead with that. And I have a picture of her and she has tears in her eyes, and she has her hand over her heart. And that for me was the icing on the cake. And that validated everything that I've been fighting for the last 20 years.
Oh my God. Woo! Michelle. If that wasn't game right there, that's it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I can't believe we almost missed that. So thank you for bringing that up.
It's got to be climactic, right?
Yeah. I was like, oh, damn. Wow. Okay. So
yeah.
You're after Oprah, just 1,000 people. She makes impact a lot of people. She knows that. She's been fighting for that since day one. She's been keeping it real, and she's always
so
lived
real,
that.
Jackson.
Yeah.
She's so real. She's so genuine. You would never know if you didn't know who she was and you met her in the street. She's so real. And I somehow just got all of this stuff out, and I looked her right in the eye, and she literally was like, girl, and she took her glasses off.
Yeah.
It was life-changing, Jackson, life-changing.
Yeah. I really believe so. I wasn't there, I may be wrong, but I really believe that she knows she helps a lot of people. Comes in, oh my God, Oprah, thank you, did this, hey, fantastic, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, whatever. And then you really were able to just nail everything out the park while respecting the time, but you made it. It was so real and so authentic, and she really felt it. And she says, wow, this girl right here in front of me is hurt. She's damaged. She needs my help. And she says, you know what, Michelle? I got you. Come here, girl. You don't get one picture. You get two pictures. You don't get 30, 45 seconds. You get 6 minutes. Let me help you out. And I can imagine all the pain that you went through, and condolences to your family members. And sorry to hear and see that you went into a car accident, especially with your kids inside. Like, that's scary. But I'm really glad to see that you're still here. And I can imagine, like, what I dive deep too, you were a pharmaceutical sales rep, territory manager, great salary, great jobs, and literally you just left and made a horizontal jump to what you believe in. And I'm sure you probably faced a lot of adversity too. Michelle, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you crazy? Are you nuts? Why are you
You
leaving?
realize you're going to make, exactly. Yeah. Do you realize you're going to make so much less money? Why would you go from being in the field and making all that commission and bonuses and whatnot to being a trainer or, a coach? And my answer was always the same. It's not about the money. I understand. Jesus Christ. Like, I understand. I understand what the obsession is with money and what the obsession is with having lots of it. But what people don't realize is that just because you have a lot of it doesn't automatically mean that it's going to erase your struggles and your insecurities and your depression and your anxiety and your hardship and your view of yourself. And, I have this joke with some friends that, like, if you take a big hefty bag full of crap and, like, you dress it up and, like, dangle it with gold and diamonds and shiny things, it's still like you know what I'm trying to say? Like, at the end of the day, like, if you're miserable inside, you get undressed at night and take off your expensive clothes and your expensive watch and your diamonds and your jewelry, and you park your big expensive car in your driveway, and you're standing in front of the mirror naked, looking at nothing but you in your skin. If you're not happy, you're not happy. And there's nothing you can do to make that change unless you do the work from the inside out.
Absolutely. Oh my God. There it is. And it's just like that same ordinary famous saying, right? Hey man, you can have all the luxury you want. Your casket will be the same size. You will still be buried underneath the ground level.
Yeah.
All this, but it's all about the mindset. Wow, Michelle, thank you for that.
Anytime. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Our tombstones, Jackson, are not going to say, here lies John Smith, loving father, grandfather, brother, and also had 4 homes around the world, a huge 40-foot yacht, and a wonderful trust fund for his kids. That's not what it's going to say. No one cares. It's what's your legacy? What legacy did you leave? And that's what the Sales Rebellion is all about. You're going to go through your sales walk and you're going to, leave a legacy. That's what it's about.
Damn, there it is. And for those who are still wondering what the Sales Rebellion, that's what the Sales Rebellion is all about. My God, Michelle. So, Michelle, I know we took a little more time, and just to wrap things up, did we miss anything, or is this good to go?
No, I promise.
Okay, so let's just wrap it one more time. If there's someone who wants to reach out to you, again, say thank you and hi, what's the best way to do so?
Yeah, you could just, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, obviously, and also at michelle@thesalesrebellion.com. And I would love to talk to people and just whatever I can do to support people and help them move the needle. That's what I'm here for.
My God, amazing. And there it is, you guys. Michelle Hecht, the coach at the Sales Rebellion. Michelle, thank you so much again on behalf of the One Up Sales Development Podcast. We truly appreciate you.
And I'm so sorry that this went over so much, but I was just
so good.
Excited to share so much with you. There's so much to tell, and I gotta work on, like, cutting that down a little bit.
No, leave it as it is. You're good to go.
All right, you got it. You're the best, and you're the best.
All right.